Class is now in session. I'm Professor Hockey, and today we're discussing a big piece of news that, while it doesn't directly involve the Sharks, it is likely very interesting for most Sharks fans. The Vegas Golden Knights have decided to fire their head coach, Gerard Gallant, effective immediately, and have hired Peter Deboer, of course former San Jose Sharks head coach, as his replacement. And this comes as a surprise to basically everybody. Gerard Gallant and the Golden Knights have been very good since the Golden Knights came into the league just a couple years ago. In that first year, the Golden Knights made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Last year, while they didn't enjoy so much regular season success, they made it to the playoffs and played an extremely close series against the Sharks. Honestly, if the Golden Knights had won that series, it would not have surprised me to see them make it at least just as far as the Sharks did, and potentially, even if they didn't have as many injuries as the Sharks, potentially further on than that. And this season, while the Golden Knights again haven't really been enjoying so much regular season success, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster results wise, some wins, some losses here or there, in the end, because they are playing in the worst division in the league, the Golden Knights only found themselves 3 points out of first place in the Pacific. So it came as a huge surprise to everybody that this coach was fired. And it also goes back to what happened in Florida when he was fired from that team. Gallant enjoyed a lot of success with the Florida Panthers. He managed to get them to win the division with a ton of points and make it to the playoffs, although they lost pretty disappointingly there. And he was doing pretty well for them when he was eventually fired. Now, it was viewed at the time as just very incompetent management of the Florida Panthers, because it was, and it's technically possible that there is some incompetent management as well in Vegas, but is to a coincidence or maybe is to a pattern. And while I wasn't making videos at this time, when I was watching the Golden Knights back in the 17-18 season, I was seeing the system that they were playing, the system they used to defeat the Sharks in the second round of the playoffs that year, and I was saying they play a very tough man-on-man system, and it works extremely well when all of the players are buying into it, but it could be a problem when the players stop to buy into it, when they stop trying to do this every single game, night in, night out, that was working so successfully then. And considering that I've now seen the Golden Knights play this season, it seems as though they had strayed away from that way of playing, but that maybe is not exactly what Gallant wanted. He probably wanted to stick with that first way because it was so effective, just the players couldn't really keep up. And so the only really real reason that I can see why the Golden Knights would fire Gallant in this situation would be if the players just didn't really like him all that much. And just judging by some of the interactions he's had with the San Jose Sharks last season in the first round, he doesn't seem to be the most pleasant person in the world. And so it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Now, this isn't obviously something that I can prove at all, but when you take a look at a team that's doing pretty well, it has done well historically. This has been the only coach for this franchise up until this point. It just does seem like a bit of weird news. Now, as I said, they have hired former Sharks head coach Peter Deboer. He was coaching the Sharks just about a month ago and now is with their top rival. And it is a bit awkward. Yes, Deboer was that in his first year of coaching the New Jersey Devils, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. In his first year of coaching the San Jose Sharks, they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But the Golden Knights also aren't any strangers to the Stanley Cup Finals, considering they made it a couple years back, and now this is a mid-season change, which is pretty tough to deal with. I don't know how Deboer is going to work with that team. I can't imagine it's going to be that much better than what Gallant had working with them, but maybe just a change of pace could do something. And especially when you take a look at the Golden Knights' underlying statistical numbers, they are very, very impressive. They just had been dealing with a bit of bad luck this season, so maybe that rebounds them. Maybe with Deboer now, they can actually catch up a bit on that luck and indeed make the playoffs, which, as I said, they're only 3 points out of first place in the Pacific, but we'll see what happens. When it comes to Gallant directly relating to the Sharks, do the Sharks try and make a move to hire them? I doubt that would happen this season, as it will be the case with the majority of interim coaches, I would believe. You take a look at the Leafs, who have enjoyed a lot of success since firing Babcock. The Flames, the same thing since firing Peters. The Golden Knights, or not the Golden Knights, the Dallas Stars have enjoyed similar success from when they got rid of their coach. Even the New Jersey Devils, who likely shouldn't enjoy any success considering they aren't a very good team, have been playing a lot better as of late with this new coach as well. You consider all of that, and it's possible that the Sharks just stick with Bob Booner for the rest of the season. Now, in the end, if the Sharks fail to make it back and make it into the playoffs, they likely will take a long, hard look in the offseason of trying to pick up Gallant, because while he doesn't seem to have much lasting effect on a team, and he can't last for many years, just judging by his experience with the Florida Panthers, with the Golden Knights recently, he is a coach that can keep a team very competitive for about, maybe 3 years. And considering the Sharks, with all the contracts they have, are going to be hard pressed to actually try and make any sort of rebuild happen, maybe it is in their best interest to actually hire Gallant, be competitive for those next 3 years with him as a coach. And when his message maybe runs out, when his time is up in the Sharks dressing room, that's when the Sharks can potentially reevaluate where they are, just contract-wise and situation-wise. But this season, I would be surprised to see Bob Booner get kicked out for Gerard Gallant, but anything can happen in the offseason. Class dismissed.